Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another stream. Hope you guys are all doing well as usual. Today's stream, we've got a fair bit of things to talk about. Bitcoin is looking like it's about to take off. You know what I mean? Take off. Reach a new all-time high for this year in 2023. So in today's stream, I really want to talk about that. I want to talk about altcoins as well in today's stream because altcoins are in fact gonna move. Right? They're moving this morning. Okay, this morning we're in fact seeing a fair few altcoins move. Specific ones, right? Like Litecoin, Solana, Chainlink, even, right? All these altcoins are in fact moving. So it's looking pretty good for altcoins, right? Whereas Bitcoin is not really moving. But we're going to talk about all that in today's stream. I'm just going to make sure my mic's working. Okay, it looks pretty good. All right. So welcome, guys, to another stream. Hope you guys are all doing well. You guys can clearly see, okay, if we go to the 1 hour time frame, that Bitcoin was in fact again at $31,000. Okay, and then once again, it did in fact have another rejection back down to the downside. So right now, Bitcoin is currently at 30,500, right? So it did in fact have another rejection. It was in fact at $31,000. And we've been seeing this for many times, right? If you go to, let's just say, the 4 hour time frame, you guys can clearly see that we saw Bitcoin reach and touch $31,000 a fair bit of times. Okay, we saw one right here, we saw one right here, one right here, and one just recently right there. So four times exactly, we saw Bitcoin have a rejection from reaching the next target of $32,000, right? And I told you guys as many times that once we actually see Bitcoin, just my personal opinion, once we actually see Bitcoin, touch $32,000, obviously reaching a new all-time high for this year in 2023. And of course, I think from there on, right, it's going to continue to pump up and have another leg up to at least $35,000, which is that target right there. But no, right, first we're going to talk about this. Okay, Bitcoin obviously is in fact having these rejections from $31,000. And just recently, right, this happened literally a couple of hours ago. Around 6 hours ago, we actually saw Bitcoin having this beautiful rally up to, reaching back up to, $31,000. It went all the way up to around 31,200, but then had a rejection. You guys are probably wondering, why did Bitcoin have this sudden rejection back down to $30,000? Well, it's because of this, and I already made a separate video talking about this. So if you guys want to hear the specifics and whatnot and the details, you should definitely check out my most recent videos that I just uploaded, right? But of course, the SEC reportedly says Bitcoin ETF filings, okay, inadequate, right? So pretty much they are in fact, I wouldn't say rejecting, but they are in fact saying that this is not the time that they don't want to approve it. You know what I mean? They don't want to approve these Bitcoin ETF filings. We know a fair few institutions like BlackRock is a massive one. We know BlackRock is obviously filing for Bitcoin ETF, Fidelity, right, and many more other institutions out there, right, are in fact filing for Bitcoin ETFs and just becoming crypto pros, I would say, and of course coming in the crypto space in general, right? I already talked about this many times, in my previous videos and previous streams, but just today, this literally just came out, and this is why we are in fact seeing Bitcoin having this slight drop back down. Okay, a slight drop, nothing too crazy, right? Bitcoin is still holding up very well. You guys can clearly see 30,500. Like, it's still holding up very, very strong in my opinion, right? It really, really is. So I wouldn't say that this is in fact a rejection from the SEC for, filing Bitcoin ETFs for these institutions, but I reckon they will in fact 100% approve it eventually. You know what I mean? I really do believe that the SEC will eventually approve these, but right now, it seems like to me that they're saying they're not going to approve it as of right now, okay? So I reckon in the future they will eventually approve it. And once they do, right, obviously Bitcoin and crypto is just going to pump. Okay, so obviously Bitcoin is obviously having a small rejection from this, which is understandable, you know what I mean? But altcoins today are looking pretty good, right? You guys can clearly see the global crypto market cap is still kind of 1.19 trillion, which is great, still above 1 trillion, right? That's really all that matters. And you guys can see overall the market's up over 1%, 1.4%. And Ethereum is currently at $1,900. Great to see for Ethereum. It's actually up 4.4% for the past 24 hours. You guys can clearly see altcoins, right? If you look at altcoins right now, they're pumping for the past 24 hours, whereas Bitcoin is not really moving, only up 0.41%. But if you look at altcoins, okay, they are in fact moving. This morning, you have to see BNB 3.4%, Cardano 4.5%, same with Dogecoin. Litecoin, on the other hand, let's talk about Litecoin real quick. Litecoin, we know the halving is in fact about to happen. I made a fair few videos talking about Litecoin, mentioning this, right? That Litecoin is looking pretty bullish, right? And it is. You guys can clearly see it's up over 26% for the past 24 hours. So Litecoin is obviously pumping, okay? Let's just have a look how it's performing. So now it's well above $100. You guys can clearly see that. So it's looking pretty good for Litecoin. You know what I mean? Literally, right? Literally yesterday, it was at $84. It was below $100, and now it's well above $100. So that's, you know, absolutely amazing to see for Litecoin. $106 for it right now. It's pumping 26%. But what's also pumping is Solana, right? You guys can clearly see that it's pumping 90%. That's pretty decent for Solana. Okay, and I'm gonna talk about Solana later on in today's stream as well, because, you know, Solana's, you guys should really keep your eye on Solana, right? It's an altcoin that you guys should really, you know, keep your eye on, okay? And I'm gonna explain more of that later on in this stream. But what's also pumping is Bitcoin Cash. We know Bitcoin Cash has in fact been pumping for the past week now, over a week, right? We know that. You guys can clearly see if we go to the 1 month chart right here, it just shows you, gives you a better perspective of where Litecoin has in fact been heading for the past few days and weeks. But you guys can clearly see Litecoin literally, right? 21st of June was at $100, like $105, okay, $109. You guys can clearly see that, right? 21st of June. And pretty much ever since then, right, you guys can clearly see Bitcoin Cash has in fact been absolutely pumping up to the upside, okay? So the past month, for the past 30 days, it's up like over 100%, like 160% over that. You know what I mean? So Bitcoin Cash has been absolutely pumping. Today, it's pumping even more. It's pumping over 23%, pretty much 24%, right? And it's back up at $300. So if we go to the all-time chart, we know Bitcoin Cash has obviously been dropping. Its all-time highs was at like over $2,000, almost $3,000. You guys can clearly see that, right? 2.9K back in 2017. And that's also when Bitcoin was pumping as well. But ever since then, we actually haven't seen Bitcoin Cash pump back up to, you know, over $2,000, right? Its previous all-time highs. Okay, ever since then, it's just been dropping back down to like $1,000. You guys can clearly see that, right? And then in 2021, when we were in fact in a bull market, right, we saw Bitcoin drop 1,300, right? Pump 1,300, sorry, not drop, but we saw it pump back up over $1,000, and then it had another rejection back down. You guys can clearly see ever since then it's just been hovering at like $100. But right now, obviously, you guys can clearly see it is in fact having a decent pump up right now. You guys can clearly see that back up to, you know, $300. So that's absolutely amazing to see for Bitcoin Cash. But altcoins this morning, right, for the past 24 hours, it's looking pretty good for altcoins, right? Fair few altcoins are in fact decently pumping. You guys see XLM, Stellar, 8%, right? Uniswap 7%, Ethereum Classic 11%. So fair few altcoins are in fact pumping. You guys see Aave 11.5%. Great to see as always. So it's looking pretty good for altcoins this morning, but Bitcoin is not really moving, right? So it's all good. You know what I mean? Altcoins are obviously going to pump, whereas Bitcoin doesn't really pump up. Majority of the time, we know whatever Bitcoin is doing, majority of the time, altcoins will follow and pump with it. Now, the dominance for Bitcoin has actually dropped. Yesterday, we saw it at 50%. Now it's coming at 49.5%. So it's dropped slightly from 50%, which is still alright, but you can see the dominance for Ethereum has actually gone up slightly. 19.4%. Yesterday was at like just 19%. So obviously it's gone up. So it's looking pretty good for the dominance for Ethereum, right? But of course, I want to show you guys a fair few charts. Okay, and I already showed you guys these charts in my previous videos, but if you guys haven't seen it yet, my previous videos, you should definitely check it out. But in today's stream, also want to show you guys these charts. So if you guys look at the chart right now for Bitcoin, you guys can clearly see, and I just mentioned this many times, that, you know, we haven't actually break above $32,000. Like Bitcoin we haven't seen Bitcoin touch $32,000 just yet, and I think that's going to happen very, very soon. You guys can clearly see that once it does, once we actually see Bitcoin, you know, touch 32K or surpass $32,000, I think that's when, guys, we're going to have the next rally up, right? All of 2023 has been a recovery year so far, and we're pretty much only halfway through this year, and it's been pretty good for Bitcoin, right? You guys can clearly see we have in fact these pumps from previous lows. We know that, right? We had this massive falling wedge all of 2022 for Bitcoin, and we hit bottom, right? Bitcoin was at like 69K, and then went all the way down to around $15,000, around $15,700, which was in fact at its bottom. And you guys can clearly see Bitcoin is clearly creating a new pattern up to the upside, right? Forming a new pattern to the upside. So that's why I always tell you guys that I don't think Bitcoin will ever go back down to its previous lows ever again, because clearly it's forming a new pattern to the upside. Okay, it's going up, so it's not going to go back down to 20K ever again, or even below 20K in Bitcoin history. That's just my personal opinion, right? It's just very unlikely to happen. We know the Bitcoin halving is obviously right around the corner, so I don't think this is the time right now for Bitcoin to us to see Bitcoin drop back down to $20,000. Very unlikely to happen. I know the bears out there are screaming, they're crying. Okay, they want to buy Bitcoin when it was at $20,000, but I don't think that's ever going to happen ever again. It's not the time right now, right, for Bitcoin. So it's all ups from here. I wouldn't say we are in fact 100% in the next bull market, but I will say this: we are in fact in its early stages right now. We are still in a bear market, right? Bitcoin is nowhere near its previous all-time highs, obviously not even halfway through yet. So we are still in a bear market, which is great, right? It gives us time to buy more Bitcoin, accumulate more Bitcoin, stack more Bitcoin, and not just Bitcoin but other altcoins, right? Just cryptocurrency in general. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's looking healthy for Bitcoin right now, especially where it is right now. Even though yes, it has in fact rejected many times, right, from reaching to $32,000, right? So it's still holding up very well in my opinion. Okay, Bitcoin will eventually bounce back up to 31K, and of course back up to 32K. But that's going to happen. It's going to take off, guys. Bitcoin will eventually take off very, very soon. But this could happen for Bitcoin. Okay, let's talk about it. This could potentially happen for Bitcoin. Bitcoin could potentially, we will potentially see Bitcoin have a rejection back down to the downside, right? So we could potentially see Bitcoin have a small rejection back down to the downside. And I'm talking, we could potentially see it go back down to $29,000, $28,000, maybe even $27,000. That is, very, very possible for Bitcoin at this point, right? It really, really is. For Bitcoin to have these rejections back down, that's very possible. Okay, so in my opinion, when we have these rejections, I don't think we're going to see a massive rejection back down. We're just going to see some slight down movements, right? So like I said, 29, 28, 27 maybe lowest. And then we're eventually going to see Bitcoin, bounce back up to $30,000, $31,000, and it's going to, keep going up from there. I've told you guys this many times that $35,000 for Bitcoin is very, very possible, right? 35K, that is very, very possible for Bitcoin. Okay, it's like a magnet. So that is for sure the next, price target for Bitcoin short term. Okay, so 35K for Bitcoin is coming. Be prepared for that for all my Bitcoin holders out there, because once Bitcoin actually reaches $35,000, then that is when I would say that we are pretty much halfway through its previous all-time highs. We're pretty much over there, almost there, right? So you guys can clearly see that this is a slow recovery right now for Bitcoin. I would say slow, but it's only been a couple months. We're only halfway through this year in 2023, and so far 2023, Bitcoin has been recovering. Not just Bitcoin, but also just other altcoins as well, but mainly Bitcoin. We know that, so it's looking pretty good for Bitcoin. Same with Ethereum, right? Ethereum has obviously been recovering as well, but yeah, it's looking pretty good for Bitcoin and crypto. So I want to show you guys this chart as well. I just really want to talk about this. So remember in 2022, right? Let's just talk about that for a sec. 2022, if you literally survived 2022, you can literally survive anything at this point. Literally anything, right? So 2022, okay, Bitcoin dropped like over 70%, okay, 77% exactly, right, from its previous all-time highs to previous lows. Okay, and the reason why Bitcoin dropped that much, because a lot of FUD and negative things happened around the crypto space that caused Bitcoin to drop massively. Like for example, we had a fair few, major crashes with crypto exchanges, right? Like for example, Celsius. We had FTX, that's also another big one, right? But you guys can clearly see back in May and June, Bitcoin crashed 40%. And the reason why we saw Bitcoin crash that much was because of pretty much Terra Luna, right? Who remembers when Terra Luna collapsed? that is when we saw pretty much the entire cryptocurrency market crash. Bitcoin was crashing, Ethereum was crashing, other altcoins were in fact crashing as well massively. So that was a great time to buy. Okay, and I remember I was just so happy. I was buying as much as I possibly can, and that's exactly what I was in fact doing. And then we saw a 27% crash right here, and the reason why Bitcoin crashed that much was because of FTX. That was also another major news right there at the time, right? When FTX collapsed, got bankrupt and whatnot, and shut down, Bitcoin dropped 27%, right? 27% crash right there for Bitcoin, and that was when that's what caused Bitcoin to reach its bottom, which was $15.7 thousand to be exact. So it was below 16K, right? So that would have been a great time to buy Bitcoin because that was in fact at its bottom. Okay, so obviously right now, Bitcoin is clearly breaking out from this falling wedge that we have in fact been seeing all of 2022 and breaking out from its previous lows, because this was in fact bottom clearly. You can just tell, right? Because we are in fact forming a new pattern up to the upside. So where's Bitcoin heading up next? Right, where is it heading up next? Well, 35K, 40K, 45K, very, very possible for Bitcoin in the next upcoming few months. Short term, I've been mentioning this many times, towards the end of this year in 2023, I do in fact see a 50K Bitcoin. That is very, very possible. And I think that's a very, realistic price target for Bitcoin to hit, for this year alone in 2023. So we know back in 2016 and 2017, Bitcoin pumped, had a percentage back of 4,000%, and then it had a rejection again. And then, of course, in 2020 and early 2021, Bitcoin pumped again, once again, when it was in fact entering the next, bull market, and had a 450% return right there, a pump, right? That was amazing. Okay, and where is it gonna head now, right? Where is the next percentage pump now for Bitcoin? What do you guys think? Right, because I think it's going to be well over 500, right, potentially, or even higher than that. We will see, but it's looking pretty good for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is in fact about to take off, guys. I'm telling you guys that right now. Bitcoin is in fact about to take off, so buckle up, be prepared for that for all my Bitcoin holders out there, right? It's about to take off. Now, the FinGreed index is currently at 56. Yesterday, we saw it at neutral, which was at 54. So today, it's obviously slightly going up, which is great to see, as always. So yes, we are in fact back at greed, which is amazing. Last week, a couple of days ago, we were in fact in greed mode as well. Yesterday, for the first time, it actually hit neutral, right, for a very long time, I want to say. And now we are in fact back in greed. So that's absolutely amazing to see, as always. Now, the Bitcoin monthly returns, today is obviously the first day of July, so June is officially over now. And I told you guys a couple of days ago in my videos and of course in my streams that the Bitcoin monthly returns for this month in June this year will most likely end off in the greens. And that's exactly where we did end off, right? 11.75% return for Bitcoin this month in June, which is great to see because, for the past previous years, 2022, 2021, and 2020, we didn't actually see Bitcoin perform that great for that month in June, right? Especially in 2022, at that time. And you look at that, right? 37%. Bitcoin dropped 37% in June last year, which is absolutely insane. You know what I mean? The reason why obviously Bitcoin dropped that much in that year, in that month, especially in June, is because of Terra Luna, pretty much, right? Terra Luna just caused Bitcoin to drop massively. But yeah, you guys can clearly see June, Bitcoin doesn't really perform that great, especially in previous years. But I'm just glad that this year in 2023 was different, right? We actually had a over 10% return, in the green. So that's absolutely amazing to see for Bitcoin to end off a great month, in June in the green. So that's absolutely amazing. And like I said many times, July, right? This is obviously the 1st of July, a new month. So happy to, to see that. But you guys can clearly see July, usually Bitcoin does in fact perform pretty well in July. So I'm expecting Bitcoin to pump this month. I'm expecting Bitcoin to at least reach $35,000 this month, maybe even $38,000, maybe even $40,000 this month. Call me crazy, but I'm expecting that, right? I really am. At least 35K. Let's just stick with 35K. Let's not go overboard, right? But you know, it's possible for Bitcoin to reach over 35K, you know, this month in July, but it's very, very possible at this point, right? So July, I'm excited for this month. I know Bitcoin will potentially perform very, very well this month, but we will see, guys, okay? We will see. Now, you guys can clearly see that I want to talk about this real quick. So this right here, guys, okay, you guys can see this chart. I actually showed you this chart in my previous video. So like I said, if you guys haven't seen my previous videos, definitely check them out, man. Please check them out. Give them a little like and whatnot. I would really, really appreciate it. But let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about altcoins, right? Let's give Bitcoin a little break. Bitcoin's going to take off. We know that, right? We already talked about that. Now let's move on to altcoins real quick. Let's move on to Solana specifically. Okay. Now, Ethereum back in 2019 versus Solana in 2023. Okay. This person has in fact been saying that they have in fact been buying Bitcoin, okay, not Bitcoin, been buying Solana for $20 all of 2023, just like buying Ethereum for $200 all of 2019, right? So pretty much what this person is saying is like he's buying so much Solana, like what he was doing with Ethereum back in 2019. Now in 2019, we actually saw Ethereum pump all the way up to like over $1,000. Okay, then it obviously had a rejection back down, right? In 2019 and of course 2020, you guys can clearly see that. And this green box was in fact the accumulation phase, right? The buy zone, pretty much, right? DCA and whatnot. You call it whatever you want. So this time, right, you know, would have been a great time to accumulate as much ETH as possible, because that's when Ethereum was in fact at like, you know, over $100 or $200. Okay. So he's saying that Solana will potentially be like Ethereum, right? The next bull market, the next alt season, because we know alt season is about to happen, right? It's coming, guys, right? Alt season, right, is about to happen. Majority of these altcoins that you're in fact seeing in the market will pump. Okay, that's what I want you guys to understand. Majority of these altcoins will pump like crazy, and majority of them will potentially reach back up to its previous all-time highs, and of course reach a new all-time high. You know, in the next, you know, alt season or in the next bull market. Okay, so you guys understand what happened in 2021, because we know, right, that's when we were in fact in a bull market. The same exact thing is going to happen pretty much in the year 2024 and of course 2025. Okay, so altcoins back in 2021 were pumping. We saw Cardano pumping. We saw obviously Dogecoin was also another one. We saw Dogecoin for the first time ever pumping like crazy. There was obviously a lot of FOMO. Elon Musk was just going ham with Dogecoin. Everyone was just talking about it. There was so much hype around Dogecoin. And that's pretty much what caused the market to really pump, right? Everyone was just talking about Doge, literally. Okay. And of course, Solana, right? Who remembers Solana back in 2021? Everyone was talking about Solana and how much Solana has a future. And it still does, in my opinion, even though it's dropped massively. But I still think Solana has a future 100% in the crypto space, right? I don't think Solana's going to go anywhere at this point. Solana was having so much FOMO. Everyone was talking about it. There was just so much FOMO. I remember seeing Solana at like $40 at one point. $40 and a pump all the way up to like $90 in like a couple of days. It was crazy, right? And then we saw Solana pump to like $100, over $100, $150, $200. Its all-time highs was in fact at like $258, I'm pretty sure. Let's just have a look, just to double check. Yeah, $258 for Solana. That was in fact its all-time highs. You guys can clearly see how much Solana has dropped right now. And I want you guys to understand what you're seeing right now with this chart for Solana. And I've mentioned this many times, and I showed you guys this in my previous videos many times, especially in my streams, that you guys can clearly see that Solana was in fact having this all-time high and it dropped massively, right? Same with other altcoins. Altcoins, okay, that they do in fact have a similar chart, just like Solana. Okay, you guys can just clearly see that. So Solana has some big potential movements and returns in the next bull market and then next alt season, alt season. And you know, majority of these altcoins as well. You guys can see Litecoin. We know Litecoin is about to have its halving right in August, so that's going to happen next month. And once we have the halving for Litecoin, it's obviously going to pump, right? Litecoin right now is obviously pumping, like 27% for the past 24 hours. That's absolutely amazing. It's now back above $100, so that's absolutely amazing to see for Litecoin. And I'm just glad, like almost 2 weeks ago, I actually bought some Litecoin, right? Who remembers? Okay, if you guys haven't seen that video, you should definitely check it out. But I've been talking about Litecoin a fair bit, and Litecoin will pump, and it's pumping right now. And that's exactly as I predicted, right? But yeah, buying Solana right now in 2023 is like buying Ethereum in 2019. Yes, do I think Solana has the potential to reach back up to its previous all-time highs? I do, right? I do. I think there's a very high chance for that, and it's understandable why people are in fact investing into altcoins, more than Bitcoin because the Bitcoin price is just too high. It's understandable. A lot of you guys want to make that money, right, in the next bull market, and that's why a lot of people are in fact focusing on altcoins. But you guys have to understand the dominance for Bitcoin. It's high. It's way higher than these other altcoins, right? So you guys need to invest into Bitcoin. Like if you're investing into crypto, you need Bitcoin in your portfolio, right? And I highly suggest you guys to, have Bitcoin as your biggest holdings, right? Because Bitcoin is the big dog. You know what I mean? Like it controls other altcoins, right? If Bitcoin is pumping, then altcoins will pump. If Bitcoin is majority of the time, crashing, then altcoins will crash. But there's going to be days where Bitcoin doesn't move, right? You guys can clearly see that, and altcoins are moving, right? There's going to be days like that where altcoins move and Bitcoin doesn't move. But majority of the time, right, Bitcoin does in fact move the market. Okay, so you guys have to understand Bitcoin's dominance is obviously way higher than these altcoins. Okay, so you need Bitcoin in your portfolio no matter what. I feel like a lot of people, especially people that I know personally that are in fact investing into crypto, they don't have Bitcoin. Like they don't even have like $100 worth of Bitcoin. For some reason, people don't even want to invest just $100 into Bitcoin. They want to invest it into altcoins majority of the time, because the Bitcoin price is just too high. And I understand that, right? $100 worth of Bitcoin is not much, but if you keep adding up, it gets more, it gets more to that, you know what I mean? So guys, please understand you need Bitcoin in your portfolio. The dominance for Bitcoin is obviously way higher than, these altcoins, right? But there's nothing wrong with investing into altcoins. I understand, people want to make that bag. They want to make that quick money in the next bull market. They want to get in and get out, right? I understand that. So that's why a lot of people are, in fact, investing into altcoins mainly. And it's understandable, you know what I mean? But you got to pick the right ones. So, yeah, Solana. Okay, now this is obviously not financial advice, just my personal opinion. But yes, I do believe Solana in the next, bull market or in the next alt season has the potential here to, reach back up to its previous all-time highs and reach a new all-time high. Just like what Ethereum did back in 2019, right? It obviously reached back up to its previous all-time highs in the next bull market and it kept going up, right? That's when we saw Ethereum like breaking like thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? So I do in fact see that for Solana. I do see Solana, reaching potentially back up to its previous all-time highs, potentially, and of course reaching a new all-time high in the next upcoming bull market, right? Alt seasons. And yes, a lot of people are in fact sleeping on Solana. Now, a lot of people are in fact talking about Sol, like what they were in 2021 because of how much it has dropped, right? So this does in fact give us a opportunity to buy Solana at a decent price. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. I remember seeing Solana at like $130, $150, and I was saying to myself, damn, I wish I would have bought Solana when it was at $10. And right now, Solana, right? I literally said that. I was like, I wish I would have bought Solana when it was at like $10, right? Now Solana's at $19. Okay, it's obviously dropped massively from its previous all-time highs, and people don't want to buy into Solana no more because it's dropped massively. It's still the same coin, guys, right? It's still the same technology. Okay, whatever Solana does with its, fast transactions and whatnot, lightning transactions, and low gas fees and whatnot, it's still the same coin, but people don't want to buy it because it's so low, which is crazy to me. You know what I mean? And obviously, yes, I told you guys many times, I have in fact been accumulating into Solana. Okay, majority of these altcoins. You guys know Chainlink. I've been talking about Chainlink is an altcoin that is honestly has the biggest Oracle network in the crypto space. So clearly they are not going to go anywhere, in my opinion, right? And I like what Chainlink is obviously doing for the crypto space, and that's why I'm really heavy invested. Chainlink is my third biggest holdings. Obviously, it's Bitcoin, and then Ethereum, of course, and then it's Chainlink, right? So Chainlink, I'm really bullish. I've been mentioning that many times, guys. I've made a fair few videos talking about Chainlink, so if you guys haven't seen those videos, you definitely check it out. But you guys know I've been stacking into Chainlink. I really do believe in the next bull market, Chainlink's going to be in the top 10. Altcoins right now, it's coming at 22. It was actually at 23, but it's replaced Cosmos, okay? So now it's at 22, which is great. But I really do believe Chainlink's going to be in the top 10 at least in the next bull market. And that's why I'm very, very bullish and I've been stacking into Chain, right? Because it's literally the biggest Oracle network, right, in the crypto space. So it's here to stay forever. It does so much for the crypto space. Like we need Chainlink, okay? So it's not going to go anywhere for a very, very long time, right? It's here to stay forever. So it's understandable why people aren't fucking investing into altcoins, right? It's because of things like this, right? And yes, majority of these altcoins, like I said many times, will eventually, bounce back up to its previous highs and of course reach on your all-time high. That is possible. Okay, I do in fact see that for not all of the altcoins, right? But majority of them, I do in fact see that happen, right? I really, really do. Time will tell, we will see. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Like I said, if you guys haven't seen my most previous videos that are uploaded today, you should definitely check them out. I would really appreciate that. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. More videos will in fact be coming your way, so stay tuned for that. I will eventually keep you guys updated on what's going to happen with Bitcoin, because yes, Bitcoin will eventually take off very, very soon. So I will obviously keep you guys updated on that. Of course, I do in fact see Bitcoin reaching back up to 31K and of course reaching back up to 32. And once it touches $32,000, it's going to, eventually keep going up, which is great to see. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this one here. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys all in my next video. Have a blessed day, guys.